Hey, it's only been 2 seconds for you, but it's been about 5 minutes for us. We had a little conversation between dialogue back and forth about navigation below the fold or above the fold, and my people are chastising me for inserting the idea that, well, maybe I'm not totally converted because they told me that they had direct conversations with Google, and that's one of the first things that they told them. You guys want to say a little bit more about it?
Sure. I mean, I think the importance of the navigation above the fold is to show the customer, the visitor, that there's so much more to your website than just the page that they've viewed. And I think a lot of hesitation, and I'm going to reiterate this, a lot of hesitation with sales letters is they're trying to get them to do one thing. And when you drive people to your website, there's so many different groups of people that all have different intentions when they come to your website. They might be overall similar, but individually they're each different. And understanding that would allow you to kind of understand what kind of navigation points are important for you to have at the top of the navigation, whether that's a different way of pitching somebody or allowing them to understand that you do have products on your website and you do have contact us and other important information on there as well. So,
Right, and Jared, I think that very principle is why blogs have been converting better. Because people have a variety of interests, and when you have a lot of content on your site and they can click around, people are more likely to find what they want. The way that I've been converting visitors, well, I've been using a straight opt-in. I'll try the navigation above the fold, but I've been using an opt-in with navigation below the fold. And then I drive them to my blog for a particular piece of content, but they have the option, if they don't like that content, to look at other pieces of content that I've put together. And then within those pieces of content are links to sales letters. Traditional one page, there ain't no links anywhere on them kind of sales letters, and that's really the model that's worked out best for me. So I'll get 100% on board and tell everybody that we want you to try the navigation above the fold and see what happens.
There's the first revelation for you today, Glenn. How's that?
There you go. Okay, let's go to number 4. Unless Lorene wanted to say something else?
nope.
Okay.
So, revelation number 4 that I inserted here is that Google cares primarily about click-through rate on Google, not on its search partners and not on its content network. This is something that I think, I guess I don't really have a good feel for what people out in AdWords land who are listening to this, think. But it took me a long time to figure out that Google.com, what occurred on that search engine mattered a lot more than what's occurring on the other related networks. So to me, that was a bit of a revelation. And Google now, I think, has a fair amount of people who see that, where they now have like almost a myth buster that they say, well, it's not just Google.com, though there are times where the other things factor in, but Google.com is primarily what matters the most. So when we talk about quality score, officially the keyword level quality score is affected by the CTR on Google.com, not the CTR on the search network, and definitely not the CTR on the content network. What factors into a quality score is the keyword's relevance to the search query, the keyword's historical CTR on Google, and not on the other networks. And then also the account's historical performance on Google, but not on the other networks. And there's other factors too, like landing page that we talked about, and what they call other relevance factors. Those actually include factoring in seasonality, the time of day, and the geographic location, and the position on the page. And we'll talk at least about position on the page later on and how they normalize for that. But the key takeaway from here is that Google really cares about what goes on in this controlled environment that they have the lordship of. Google has misgivings about data in places where they don't control all the variables, so they don't weight it in the same sort of way. This is one of the reasons why you don't see a choice where you can advertise on the search network but not on Google, which some people have been pushing for, because you will always have, Google will always want to get data for a search term on google.com and factor that click-through rate,
okay,
quality score.
Cool.
So that's why, and also, here's something that I wish I could have told you for a previous call, Glenn. That's also why Google will never have your search and Google campaigns go 100% search, 100% Google. You'll always get at least some little bit of traffic on your search campaigns, pretty much. Your search network campaigns will always have some Google traffic, a little bit maybe, because they're going to be testing out those terms for
quality score.
For quality score purposes, for click-through rate, yeah. So.
Well, that's very well said. I didn't recognize that as the reason why they wouldn't separate the two. Now I feel like I can sleep at night. It's been years.
Google actually, Glenn, will tell you, like, this revelation they will phrase backwards. They will say it's not just google.com. So I just want to say something about that Google does factor your CTR on the search network into your position and what you pay for on the search network. So if you, on Roofing Quote, are doing awesome on AOL.com, then that's going to be rewarded on AOL.com, but it's not going to be reflected in your keyword level quality score as it's posted in Google, nor will it affect how you're doing on the content network or on Google.com. And then with the content network, it works even a little bit more granular. The click-through rate doesn't matter at all towards quality score as it's reported, but the click-through rate on that actual placement site, like let's say howstuffworks.com, your click-through rate when your ad is appearing on that site will affect your position on howstuffworks.com, but not on the NewYorkTimes.com or on Gmail or on MySpace. So what Google really cares about is like putting like apples to apples. Like this is a controlled environment that we have data on, so we will use that data for this environment, and then the general data that they're willing to apply across the board to stuff is in their own little world that they control, google.com.
Makes sense. So. Makes sense. And there's no way